This is episode 87 of the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. In this episode, JK and I are going to discuss how to run your best HYROX strategy. This is also part of that sub 75, 70, and 65 part 2 that we'd build off of the last episode. And then we're going to discuss a little bit about HYROX Las Vegas coming up. Let's make hybrid fitness work for you. How's it going today, JK?
Pretty well, thank you, Mr. Terracini. What's going on with you, my man?
I'm getting very excited because it is HYROX Las Vegas week, and to me, like, that's super exciting. It's not a major where there's like a lot of buildup and everything, but when you get a hometown race where you don't have to travel to it, you just get to we live 10 minutes from the venue, so I got to drive right up to it. It's just exciting and lots to think about, lots to do.
That's awesome. Hey, yeah. Last year, obviously, it was a major, so I was there for it myself. Is it the same arena?
No, it is not. So what's crazy is HYROX Las Vegas has been a world championships, it's been a major, and this is the first time it's not either of those.
Yeah.
So it's like normal race. The venue changed as well. So like both those first two times, it was at the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is downtown, big convention center. You remember seeing that. This time it's at the Mandalay Bay, in the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. So it's, if you don't know, casino and hotel called Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. It's kind of at the south end of the strip. Very big building, everything. It's got the casino on the bottom floor that you walk through, all the restaurants and the gambling and everything. You walk through that, you'll go down this hallway and it goes to a convention center. It's going to be a different experience for people that aren't used to like Vegas. The convention center is huge. The South Hall Convention Center is giant. Right next to it is the Shark Reef Aquarium, which Shark Reef is like this giant aquarium. It's like 1.5 million gallons of water with like, you walk through this big tunnel and have sharks swimming above you and below you. There's a like pet the stingray and the starfish like pond out there, and there's all these different, it's a really cool aquarium too. So tons going on, just loads of stuff happening.
That's cool.
It gets to be in. And so I'm very curious what it's going to feel like, because when I was in Phoenix in that stadium, it kind of made me feel like, what other event is ever going to compare to this inside that giant stadium in Phoenix? Like, that was one of the coolest things. And so going back to convention center now, I'm like, how's this going to feel? What's it going to be like?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for you, but also like think about the next two majors as such. Not thinking about the regionals, but Warsaw is in a stadium, and then Stockholm is a stadium as well. So it's cool because obviously it'll be interesting if we kind of start understanding that the more major races they have, the major races, they're looking at stadium more so than exhibition, but who knows?
Well, they have that elite grid set up now, right? So it's like they have the separate venue with the elite grid set up. So the question is do you want to retain that, or are you going to try to find a way to make that work inside a stadium? Because I think it was kind of a unanimous decision. Everybody's like, this is really cool inside like an NFL stadium, you know? So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, cool, man. And of course, yourself, Lauren, will be there, and the whole hybrid engine team. What may I ask? Like, are you racing? Is Lauren racing?
So I am racing Friday. So this is our schedule of events of right now. I expect to get my start time maybe even while we're recording here. Um,
Cool.
I'm assuming it's going to be sometime around 4:30 to 5 o'clock start time. For
Yep.
I'm racing Friday in the men's pro doubles.
Pro doubles.
Uh,
Cool.
and then so what's actually going on is Lauren is going to be at the feed booth from 4 to 4:30 uh, with Rich Ryan, and they're going to be answering questions at the feed booth, Q&A. Then I probably am going to race start time sometime between 4:30 and 5. And then we're doing a shakeout run at 6 p.m.
Gotcha.
If you are listening to this before Vegas starts, it's 6 p.m. on Friday outside the entrance to the Shark Reef at Mandalay Bay and the South Convention Hall. So there's a big entrance there between like the nightclub and the parking structure, and it's got a giant American flag and a giant Nevada flag right next to the entrance. So if you don't know, look on my or Lauren's stories, you'll be able to find it. So that's all Friday. Then
Yep.
Saturday, Lauren and Rich Ryan are doing a mixed doubles. Um,
Yep.
so they're going to be, we don't know, like, we have the course map. We don't know how fast the course is. You never know yet. There's a 180-degree turn at every rock zone, at least one. So you have to, on the first four stations during the entrance, you do a 180 turn to go back. On the
Mm.
last four stations, you do a 180 turn to get back onto the run course. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And then on Sunday, I'm gonna race again pro solo, and that's
Pro
Sunday night.
solo. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome, man. That's great. Who's your doubles partner?
it's a guy on our program. His name is Michael Hartman. He
I've
reached
seen
out and was
Michael Hartman.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Seen his
reached out
name.
and was like, hey, I'm available. You want to do doubles in Vegas? I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
So,
I'll talk to you beforehand, but best of luck to both of you. And Michael, if you're listening to this, make sure you don't go easy on my coach Anthony or your coach Anthony as well, right? He
uh,
he he needs to put in some effort sometimes as well.
yeah, we got to come up with a strategy. Him and I got to talk about what we're gonna do. But uh,
That's
to
cool.
goal, I've never ran slower than an hour in a doubles race. So
Mm,
I gotta keep the streak alive.
you'll be fine with that. You'll be fine with that. Rich Ryan and Lauren is like Uh, I'm excited, and I'm sure it won't be live stream, but I'm excited to see how they go, man. I feel like both of them are actually very suited for a mixed doubles together. Um, it'll be cool, and I'm hoping it's going to be fast because if they can just have a clean race, like who knows what they might run.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is if they have a clean race, you never know, like course dependent, right? Like that's why we're not doing time anymore for qualification is because it's so varied between courses, but they're they have the potential depending on the course that they could go for the record. And they're gonna go hard. Like it's a good stimulus. It's 2 weeks out from DC, so it's like a good,
Perfect.
race
Yeah.
stimulus for them. So it's gonna be a good race. They never ran together before. Rich and Palaio have the men's pro doubles world record. So
Mm,
it's half of that team. Lauren and Vivian have the women's pro double world record. So it's half of that
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing what can happen if you combine them.
Yeah.
It's
For sure.
it's gonna be interesting. I think that they'll go really fast. I had a question. I asked someone. I go, "Do you think?" And I'll ask you, JK. Do you
Hmm.
think Lauren and Rich together could beat the men's pro doubles time? So right now
Mm,
the mixed doubles, remember
48.
mixed doubles is that women's pro weight, so it's lighter for the
Yeah, yeah,
guys.
yeah.
The mixed doubles world record is 49.13 and the men's pro doubles world record is 48.31. So it's
Yeah,
like 42 seconds.
yeah. The answer to that is yes, but only if the running can be as fast somehow as the men's pro doubles running pace. And look, I'll be maybe not. It doesn't have to be as fast, but it has to be very close.
Okay.
Um, but that's the answer. It's like, yeah, I could see it happening.
So, I mean,
Um,
there's a lot that has to go right for it to happen. But then the other question is if you could see it being the men's pro doubles, what about the men's doubles, just the men's open doubles?
open
That's
doubles.
another that's so it's the exact same weight, but it's two men racing it that currently have the world record, and their world record is 47.57. So another
Wow. Okay.
33 seconds on top of the 42 seconds that they would already have to go faster.
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy breaking the 48, right? Who has that record?
I'll have to look that up. It'll just take like 2 seconds
Sorry.
here, but
Um, Yeah, because it's funny, we haven't heard we don't well sorry. I apologize because I'm assuming um open records still stand but I personally haven't heard of open records in a while, but or open records falling in a while. Let's just say that.
so the open record used to be Rich and Paleo. It was beaten twice in Berlin
Mm,
by one of the team that holds it right now is Fabian Eisenlauer and Jake Williamson
right, that's right. Yeah, cool. Cool, cool, cool. I thought it
in
was Jake
Berlin.
and someone. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Um Imagine if HYROX decided to, once they know the Elite 15 field for the World Championship, both men and women, so after Warsaw, right, they go, we're going to do some sort of a draft bidding system to actually combine, to actually pair a male and a female up and then actually have like a mixed doubles elite 15 and um it's pretty much an elite race with all the 30 elite um athletes. That'd be super cool. Be super cool to see like the best matchups as such. And um but hey, like I'm like who knows if they'll ever end up having like thoughts of mixed doubles being an elite race, right?
Yeah, and so the problem with mixed doubles ever being an elite race is that you'd basically be watching like the fastest teams, right? At that level, it doesn't make sense for the women to be doing like hardly any of the work.
Yeah, no,
They
yeah,
just have to be keeping up with the guys because the the sled push, the sled pull, maybe they switch off on the burpees a few times.
yeah,
But like the even so, like some of it isn't great. So we're like, now that being said, matching up some of the best teams, what you're gonna see here is like Lauren and Rich, like they're gonna share the work. Rich has to do a little bit more of the work, right, in the stations, but Lauren has to keep up with him on the runs.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, yeah,
that's like the trade-off we're gonna be seeing.
yeah. Absolutely. Well, just to finish this up, Rich, Ryan, if you're listening to this, just to warn
I got
you,
it.
just to warn you, um, still today, the mixed doubles that I did with Lauren Weeks is, yep, is definitely the most painful race that I've ever endured, hands down. So, Rich Ryan, best of luck.
Nice. So, um, how about you? What do you got going on? Maybe it's not this weekend, but the following week.
Yeah, so heading to Taipei. um, next Thursday for a men's pro doubles race with Matt Slee. So that's around the corner for us, which is exciting. But apart from that, just kind of rinse and repeating training and coaching, and I guess bunking down at home for quite a while now, which is exciting. I think I said last time, Anthony, and you're fully aware of this. Apart from that Taipei quick getaway, I guess I get to be home for a very extensive period of time before Worlds. So Georgie and I are quite excited by that. No travel for quite a while, so yeah, just trying to get in quality training days and like doing what we're doing with our coaching business as well. So yeah, man, everything's good. I think to be fair, like Matt Slee and I very excited to race together in Taipei. For those of you who aren't aware, Matt Slee is ranked, well, he's actually ranked fourth in Australia. I think he's ranked sixth in the APAC regional championship right now as a solo athlete. And we're teaming up for next in Taipei to potentially, obviously, try to get a time for the Brisbane regional race together. And then potentially looking long term, obviously be together for next season onwards. Because just to reiterate on that, HYROX has decided that from next season onwards, you have to, if you want to be a part of the elite doubles, you've got to have a partner from the same country as you. So unfortunately, Jake Dearden and I won't be able to race together as of next season. But that means where Matt and I are getting on the front foot and trying to get a couple of good races and good times together I guess before next season. So yeah, and it's funny. Like I actually did some research the other day about right here, right now. There's not many on the males and females. There's not many elite doubles teams that are from the same country. There's three or four that are let's just say their times are very, very good from the males and then from the females as well. But think about it. That's only three or four out of 15 teams that have to make every major, right? So be interesting if other teams, and I'm assuming they are, and other athletes are actually thinking to get on the front foot. You've got to start thinking now and start banking up some races now. So yeah, that's our plan, man, at the moment.
Um, that's good. I mean, I think it's a good idea because you guys are going to need three races together, right, in order to qualify with the point system. So getting one of them now is a fantastic idea. Uh, and then uh, getting you're actually going to end up getting two of them because you'll get your Taipei
Okay.
and your regional. So you'll get two.
Yep.
So that really makes it so that, hey, we only need to run one more before before the first major if you want to qualify for the first major. And where you're at, you're going to have probably at least two or three races over the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys just
Exactly.
got to
Or
hit up one of those.
yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, and I should know this, but with doubles next year, three races, as you just said.
Yeah.
Um, it's the average. Like we're getting points still. It's still point system. So just an example, or is it average time of your
No, it's
doubles?
points. It's point
Yeah.
system.
So just an example, if Matt and I do well in Taipei and let's just say we do win, we get 105 points.
Hmm.
If we end up racing well and winning Brisbane, that's the winning points is 108, so we'll get 108, and so on and so forth. So it's still point system. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. But it's only 3 races, not 5.
It's only 3 races. Yep, for
Yeah,
doubles.
yeah, cool, 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 cool. Yeah, yeah. So we're very excited. We're very excited.
It's awesome. I actually think because it's only 3 races, we're going to encounter the strength of field tiebreaker more in doubles than you will in solo. Um, just because
Mm,
there's opportunity in doubles for multiple teams to have, multiple like victories. So
yeah,
the team that could go out and win 3 races, if there's 100 races a year and it was perfectly distributed, it'd be like you'd have 33 teams with 3 race wins, and so it'd come down to
right.
the strength of field. Uh, it's not going to be perfectly distributed, right? There's going to be people that win, people that take second. So more likely than not, like 2 seconds and a first is going to be good. What's good for you guys is if you do win Taipei and you do win the regional, that's the bonus points of the regional will put you a
Is
little
gonna
bit
help.
ahead. So you guys would be in above the tiebreaker for having a stronger race victory.
That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. So that's why the majors and obviously the regional is really important to try to obviously do do well at. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks
Um,
like I have a little visitor here.
you do indeed. Um, Anthony, what? Um, sorry, like, and I'm assuming there's some topics or discussions that we'll have in a second, but uh, talking about the regionals. So we've got um, if I stand corrected, DC is the first one. So the Americas regional is coming up in 2 weeks after this weekend. Pretty sure.
Yep. So invites for the Washington D.C. regional, the Americas regional went out today
Hmm.
or yesterday. So they were accepted by today, I think. So that's cool. So their lineup is getting set, and so they did. I went back and checked. It looks like they didn't have it completely updated. Because like I saw some people still ranked that like were ranked with their times from before they got their athlete license, but it looks like they went back and corrected it. So
Mm,
some people who were in but didn't have their athlete license after October, but before they raced, those times got eliminated. So
wow. Okay.
you watched them drop down, and so now the field looks like it's set,
Yep.
and we'll see what happens. Going forward with like the athlete licenses being adjusted, and we'll see who gets in, who gets roll downs, and what that means. But
Yep.
the invites did go out. Um,
Cool.
I don't think I'm spoiling anything. Lauren is going,
Yep.
so
Yep.
we're gonna we'll be there. Lauren and Vivian both. So
Yeah. Awesome. And both of them are racing solo, and both of them are racing together.
yep, yep,
Yep.
both are racing both. We heard. I mean, we don't know, but I heard that all the top guys are going too. Like, I don't know if there's going to be any roll downs on the guys' side.
Wow.
Besides, like, Ryland's still listed in the top 15. So obviously, like, 16th will get in. But the guys' side, I think it is going to be like a big battle at the top between Hunter, Dylan, and Rich.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
then Cole Learn is right there. Jack Driscoll.
Hmm.
If Ryan Callahan gets in, I think he's a dark horse to like
Mm.
get that qualifying spot. There's a few other guys that are definitely like threats to steal the qualifying spot too.
Yeah. 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 I can see. Maybe especially in the American regional, and then maybe the APAC regional more so. Um, that the spot ends up going to someone who has never raced a major. That's
I
that's
mean,
That's my sorry that's my bet. I reckon in the men's side especially, the men's American spot will go to someone who's never made race a major, and I think the APAC one. I'm sorry to say this, John and Bo, but I'm just going to put it out there that someone's going to snag it that has never raced a major.
So on the women's side, unless on the women's side in America, we don't know if May is racing or not. But if she does, she could get the spot, which means she's raced the major. But all the
Yep.
other women have not raced the major except for maybe Tara, if you go back a couple years,
Oh
Alondra, if you
wow.
go back a few years, and Lauren Griffith. I don't know. I don't think she's racing though. So those are like the possibilities, right?
Wow. I didn't
Um,
realize that.
so it
There you
like
go.
it almost assuredly would go on the women's side as someone who has never raced in a major,
Yeah,
an
wow.
Elite 15 solo at least. Some of them have raced in doubles. On the men's
Yeah.
side, it's basically the three guys that have the qualifiers already, like they're in. So the only ones besides them that have raced in an Elite 15 solo major that can get the spot is either Cole Learn,
hmm
uh, Ryan Kent, or Colin Steefer. So if it goes to anybody else besides one of those three, it's somebody who
Yeah.
never raced an Elite 15 solo
Yeah.
will get the qualifying spot.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. And on the APAC side, for the men, yeah, I mean you got Bo if Tom Rogers races and John Wynn, like those
Yeah.
three guys, obviously, but otherwise you're looking at like I don't think there's any of the other guys have gotten it. Now, it's not going to be easy to beat any of those three guys if they're racing.
No, not at all.
So
Not at all.
those guys, I'm pretty sure it's probably one of those three if they get in, but it could
It
it
could
or not get in, but if they race, because we don't know Tom Rogers' status. Like those three guys right there were what fifth, sixth, and seventh at Worlds this last year.
yeah, they
Like
were actually. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
Yep.
it would be a tall order on that end.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Whereas on the women's side, like the three women that have raced in the Elite 15, the top three, they're all qualified. So you're looking at the only other woman that's raced an Elite 15 solo race that's doing the uh, Brisbane regional is Calypso Sheridan, and she's raced
Calypso.
one Elite
Yeah.
major, and that was in
Yeah, that's
Hamburg,
right.
right? So if goes to anybody but Calypso, which I don't know if it will. I think she's got to be the favorite to earn the
I
qualifying spot. But
I think
like
so,
Molly
yeah.
Fakaris is there and
Mm.
Anna Bramley, like there are some people that aren't just going to give it to her, like Georgie Vesely.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
My
Absolutely.
dark horse pick is Georgie getting a world championship Elite 15 spot.
Imagine that, mate. Imagine that. I don't know if I don't know if um I, I don't even know what I'm about to say here, but I don't know if our relationship could hold both of us being in the Elite 15. No, I'm joking there. I'm totally joking there. But one of the this kind of off top. No, oh no, it's topic. It's on topic. But one of the best things about HYROX, Anthony, is to me is that like we get a race coming up like the DC race, and or like Worlds is the perfect example here. Like we all get qualified during the season at different times. We all have different performances, but the best thing about HYROX is that as soon as we line up at Worlds, hypothetically, as an example, all of that gets stripped away. Like it doesn't matter when you qualified. It doesn't matter what your personal best is. It's right there and then. There's 15 of us that um, have, let's just say we all have the same amount of chance to do well, in my eyes. And that's the best thing about HYROX. Like it's not, there's nothing else that comes into it but who is actually the most prepared on the day. And that's the most exciting thing about races like DC and like the regionals coming up. It's like, yeah, cool. Like there's always going to be a favorite, but there's always going to be a dark horse as well that is going to be there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep. So I just wanted to not leave them out. The London regional, I just looked it up. On the men's side, every single man that is racing there is in the top at least 19 has raced in an Elite 15 major within the last year or two.
Oh, so it's
Uh,
so different.
so like somebody's been there. And on the women's side, there's only one woman in the top, it looks like 20, that hasn't raced in an Elite 15 major.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
going to somebody that's raced in an Elite 15 major, solo Elite
That's
15 major in the last year or two.
it's interesting. Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize that.
So
Um, that's
while APAC in America could go to somebody that's never raced an Elite 15 major, Europe most assuredly won't.
won't. Yeah. Yeah. Which is interesting. So it goes DC on March. When's that March?
That's the first
12th,
weekend of March. So DC,
first
the
weekend of
solo
March.
race is the 7th, the doubles race is the 8th.
Yep.
And then you're going to go to London, which is March 21st and 22nd,
Yep.
or it's 20th and 21st. I might have
Yep.
that backwards. And then we got a couple weeks break before Brisbane, which is April 10th and 11th.
10th and 11th. Yep. That's right. Yep. So exciting calendar of events coming up.
Oh wait, actually I think Brisbane is April 11th and 12th. Yeah, because there's only 6 days,
Yeah.
and then the Warsaw Major is the 17th and 18th.
Yes. Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's how it's going to go. So yeah, that'll be fast turnaround for anybody doing that.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. All right. So we did have a schedule for today on things we're going to talk about. Last episode was solo by me. I tried to go over a few things, one of them being how to run a sub 75, a sub 70, or sub 65. I kind of got
Mm.
cut off on myself on that one and ended up having to like cut it a little short. So I didn't get to go over the parts I really wanted to go over. I listened back to the episode and I wasn't like thrilled with it, but we can do it. But I did want to talk about a couple things from that episode. First off, somebody asked this question and they're like, so if you say the wall ball is only supposed to be 10% of my 1 rep max and um, I use a 20-pound wall ball, does that mean I need to have a 200-pound thruster? And I had an answer to this, and I'm not saying, and I said it, you don't have to have a 200-pound thruster. Like, but if you're looking for a low percentage of your 1 rep max, that's right. The wall balls, and I'll put it this way, the wall balls are a muscular endurance piece, not like a pure strength piece. What I'm saying is if you have a 200-pound thruster, you're well more established. You don't need to be like working on your strength for how strong you are. And I believe we said in the episode 10 to 15%, which 15% would be a 135-pound thruster. Um, and I can tell you guys, I don't know, JK, if you, I know Dylan couldn't do a 200-pound thruster, I don't think. That's
Sorry. 200
90
pound
kilos.
is if it's 90 kilos, no way. There'd be no way. I'd probably
Yeah.
be able to do it, muster up a very ugly 85 kilogram thruster though. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying
But
is like,
yeah,
yeah, 90, it'd be 90 kilos.
right. There you go.
So
Yeah.
like that's what we were saying is like that is the point of that was that if that's your max, you don't need to be working on strength for anything about wall balls. Like you don't need to be working
Mm,
on those types of things. Um,
yeah.
that was the point of that that discussion. The question got asked, so I wanted to make sure I readdressed it.
The concept here, though, Anthony, is like as we always say, it depends, right?
Yeah,
Like it always depends, and that's the hardest thing about fitness is that yes, we have like linear plans, and we want to be able to say that we like as this is an example, like for like a 200-pound thruster and the um, is is going to help with your wobbles. Absolutely, it is, but it doesn't mean if you don't have that, you're not going to be good at wobbles. That's not what
right.
we're saying, right? So
Yeah,
don't take that literally. They're just some good metrics to kind of to go by.
yeah. And JK, you're the perfect example there. Like your max thruster is probably not 90 kilos, like maybe 85. You might be able to, like you said, do an ugly one, but that doesn't mean you can't do 100 unbroken
Right.
because you have the muscular endurance to be able to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Which brings
yeah.
us to the progression that we talked about. Somebody asked about the progression. I answered this last week, but so for more details, you can listen to that. But I just wanted to readdress it is that yes, you do an EMOM 10 of 15 reps, and then you
Hmm.
do an EMOM 8 of 16 reps the following week. And you don't do both of them in the same day. You do one. If you're unbroken
Yeah.
twice, you do the next one. You move on to the next one. You do it unbroken twice. So like you can actually just do one of those and it progresses down until you do EMOM 5 of 20 reps, or that every 90 seconds you can hit 25 reps
Yeah.
with the progression into a heavier and heavier ball.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we discussed last week, like it's a progression that I've been doing for quite some time, Anthony, and
Yep.
yeah, we actually I got a couple of messages during the week about people having a crack at that. So yeah, that's something that if you do want to have a look at like a specific progression for warbles, start having a crack at that.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to go over, we talked about, JK, I'm curious on hearing your thoughts on this, but the point of the last episode was how to run a sub 75, sub 70, or sub 65 HYROX race. I went
Yep.
over my personal experience going through it, but I didn't get to the point that I actually wanted to talk about strategy and what the actual time breakdown means.
Right. Right. Okay. Cool.
So
So
what do you think about if somebody has, and this isn't everybody, like there are so many people out there that your goal is to finish the race, and that should be the first goal is like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna do this for fitness, I'm gonna do it for health, and I'm gonna finish the race. And
mm,
then as people like start to progress, there some people aim for a goal, and it's 75 minutes, 70 minutes, 65 minutes are pretty common like benchmarks to try to hit, right?
yeah, yeah,
And these same strategies can be applied if your benchmark is like, I want to go sub 90
yeah.
or sub 2 hours. Like you can apply the same benchmarks that we're about to talk about. But what's the first thing you would look at if you had an athlete come up to you and be like, I want to go sub 70?
And I'm assuming the question is like, what the first thing I'd look at from a training standpoint, not necessarily the race tactic.
Yeah.
So the first thing is just to make sure that that athlete can withstand being withstand or can just move and exercise for that time period. So, and I think like we've heard that, like we hear that a lot in HYROX, right? Um, you want to make sure if you want to be able to do a 75-minute HYROX, you want to make sure that you can um, like run slash move slash exercise for 75 minutes without stopping. Not in not at an intense level, but just that is the foundation. You want to make sure you can at least withstand 75 minutes of continuous movement at an easy level. And I'd even think if this athlete was like, okay, I want to break to 75 minutes, I'd be trying to progress them to making sure that they can move for 90 minutes at least at an easy at a easy output.
Yep.
So that's the first thing, right? And quite
How
frankly,
would
there's
you how would you make them do that 75 or 90 minutes?
well, it again, sorry to say this, but it depends. It depends on their background with a lot of things, and like the first thing that comes to my head is running, their running history. Let's just say they have had a history of running, and they have done some half marathons and builds towards half marathons. I'd make sure that their long run is getting up to that 90-minute mark, starting maybe at a 60, then 65, then 70, like as we're progressing throughout like a training block. That's how I'd first start it. And then depending on their, again, sorry guys, but it depends on their, let's just say, movement patterns, overall movement patterns um, with their history of or lack of work in the gym. I'd make sure that like a lot, not a lot, but we're hitting a long, let's just say, functional fitness piece per week as well. So what I mean by that is we're doing a long run per week, but then also we are making sure that we're hitting a longish um, workout of the week or metcon where it's like an AMRAP of 60 to 70 to 80 minutes where we're doing we're focusing on our aerobic conditioning on the machines, but also tapping into those movement patterns that we see in HYROX, which is obviously not necessarily the sleds, but pushing and pulling things, burpee slash upper body strength. We are carrying, we are squatting, we are lunging, etc. But starting, so to just to kind of finish this off, I'm starting this athlete from the foundation level and making sure that they're getting the aerobic volume and the easy volume in before even thinking about threshold, even thinking about anaerobic stimulus, even thinking about speed stuff, because 75 minutes is a long time, guys. It's a long time. And if you want to make sure that you're giving yourself every opportunity, you want to make sure you can last that distance first. So starting easy, starting with easy effort, aka that long run, aka a 60, 70, 80 minute plus kind of AMRAP style workout once a week is invaluable.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. I would just like you said, like the run usually is pretty impactful. So unless they've been a runner, I
mhm,
probably would start them like, hey, can you do 60 minutes on the bike or 45 minutes on the bike? And then the next week, like 50 minutes on the bike, an hour on the bike, 75 minutes on the bike, or have them rotate through like, can you bike for 15, 20 minutes and then row for 10 minutes and ski for 10 minutes and then go jog a mile and then can you do that 3 times and that equals 90, like whatever it is, you know,
yep,
can you move exactly like you said, can you move at an easy pace, whether it's one monostructural movement or multiple strung together, can you move for 90 minutes? And if you
yep,
can't move for 90 minutes, we build you up to be able to move for 90 minutes before we start adding um, more and more to that.
yep, correct. Yep. And that's the hardest thing, guys, is it depends. It
It
always
depends.
depends. It always depends. And that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing about it.
Yep, absolutely. So I wanted to review really quick just what it means to be able to run, and kind of like the paces you have to be able to sustain based
Right.
on your uh, based on like how well you are at the stations. And this can
Yep.
go because this can go both ways, right? You got to know what to expect.
Yep.
So starting with let's call it the fastest possible stations. All right, let's just say what could you feasibly do the absolute fastest possible stations in? Uh, and
Okay.
so let's just, for simplicity, I took Hunter's like best station time ever out of a race.
Mm-hmm.
He
Okay.
did he did the stations in 22 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yep.
Okay. So what does that mean? If you are a monster stationer, which a stationer is more than just strength, right? They need to have strength and they need to have the aerobic ability in that movement or that modality. So if you
Yep.
can't do the stations as fast as Hunter, which 99.999% of the world cannot, um,
Yep.
this isn't going to apply to you. But if if you could do the stations in 22 minutes and 22 seconds, okay? In order to break 75 minutes, you'd have to run on average a 9:44 per mile pace
Yep.
um, through the runs and rock zones,
Mm-hmm.
right? So everybody's like, oh, that's not very fast. Well, yeah, because you're beasting the stations. So you could break
Yep.
75 minutes doing that. If you wanted to run a sub 70, you'd have to run an 8 minute and 49 second per mile pace, right? A little
Yep.
bit faster. If you want to break sub 65 with those types of stations, you'd have to run a 7 minute and 53 second per mile pace.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sitting there and you're like, my threshold is, 7:45 per mile, and I want to break 65 minutes. Realistically, you have to station as fast as Hunter in order to run that speed and still break 65 minutes. So
Yep.
that's like realistic goals here. Like maybe taper it back, think, okay, I need to be able to run this. Then, and just for reference, because there's a worldwide audience here and not everybody does miles, that 75-minute pace was a 6:03 per kilometer. The 70-minute pace would have been 5:29 per kilometer, and 65-minute pace would have been 4:54 per kilometer.
Yep.
So, pretty quick. But remember, I'm just going to read off what those station times would be. Like, that's having your ski be a 3:29. So that means you're skiing faster than a 1:44 per 500 pace because
Yep.
you got to get in and out of the skier. That's pushing the sled in a 2:25. That's pulling the sled in sub 3 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
2:57. That's doing the burpee broad jumps in 2:02. That's doing the row, getting in and out of the rower and rowing in under 3:48. Um, that's doing the farmer carry in a minute 14. That's doing the lunges in a 2:49. That's doing the wall balls in a 3:38. That's how fast you would have to go at the stations in order to run those other paces, right?
Yep.
Kind of just
Yep.
puts it into perspective that like if somebody's saying, I think I can hold a 7:45 per mile and I want to break 65, well, you have to be probably the best station athlete in the world
Yep.
in order to do that. So if you're
Yep.
not that, let's say there's somebody more like me that they can station time. This is about what like station times I'm hoping to hit, right? So say they're a little bit closer to me. A 26:30 on the stations,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which would mean and this could be men or women, by the way. Like you everybody could have their station times, but I kind of have this broken up um here. The skier would be a 3:55, right? So that's probably skiing about a 150 to 155 and running hard into and out of the
Uh,
station, you know?
yep.
It's pushing the sled in 240 or less. It's pulling the sled in 340 or less. It's burpeeing in 2 minutes and 55 seconds. it's rowing in a 4:15. So getting in and out of the rower, running to the rower and stuff, which is also probably means you're rowing about a 155 to 2 minute per 500 average. It's farmer carrying in a minute 25, so assume it's unbroken. And it's lunging in 340 and it's wall balling in 4 minutes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I see.
Which is still as you still very fast stations there, Anthony.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's good, but also like it's not the fastest in the world. I mean, it's 4 minutes slower than what we said hunter stations were. And it's still, you know, reasonably fit to be able to like that's what it's going to be. But
mm,
the run paces, if this station athlete wanted to be able to run a sub 75, now they have to be able to run an 858 per mile average for a sub 75. If they want to be able to
yep.
run, which is a 534 per kilometer. If they want to be able to
Yep.
run in a sub 70, they have to run an 803 per mile average, or
Yep.
a 5 minute per kilometer. And then if you want to be able to run a sub 65, you'd have to be able to run a 707 per mile average or a 426 per kilometer.
Right.
And that's
Yep.
that's remember, you're going to be running faster on the track outside than you will in the rock zone, even if it's a runnable rock zone, because you naturally have corners and slowdown areas. So that's an average pace. So you have to think you're running a little bit faster than those paces outside, and you're probably giving a little bit back in the rock zone, even if you run it hard like JK.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, now I want to take it from this
It
angle.
yeah.
Let's say, let's say that you are a runner, right? And you want to know if I can hold a 630 per mile average or a 628 per mile average, or which is just like 401 per kilometer, like 4 minutes per kilometer, and I want to break 65 minutes, how fast do you have to station? Well, if
Okay.
you do that and you want to break 65, you're going to have to station in under 30 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
what does a 30-minute station time look like? Um, just for reference, this is one example. This could you could do this um, across your strengths and weaknesses. If you're really strong on one station and weaker at the other, you can adjust the times. But that's a 415 ski, which getting into and out of the ski erg and also like running into and out of the ski erg and like probably skiing at about 2 minute per 500 pace. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the sled push, I put 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Runners usually are a little bit going to be a little bit slower at the pushing of the sled just because they're smaller body weight. So 3 minutes and 30 seconds to push. A little bit more reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
4 minutes and 20 seconds for the sled pull, which also again,
Mm-hmm.
smaller body weight, mass moves mass, right? So smaller body weight if you're specifically a runner means that you have to be able to pull that. But I set a 420 on the pull.
Mm-hmm.
I put 330 on the burpees. So 330 on the burpees is still relatively quick. Like the burpees cannot be a
Yep.
rest station no matter what you're trying to do here. Um, and
Yeah.
then on the rower, I set a 415. So again, that's probably about a 155 to 2 minute row.
Yep.
And then a 140 on the farmer carry, which means you probably get one set down, a brief set down. And then I said 4 minutes on the lunges, which is about 25 steps a minute or 25 meters a minute, because that's, the sandbag lunges is about consistent. And then I gave a little bit of time, so a 430 on the wall balls. But that
Mm-hmm.
that total station time is 30 minutes. So if you want to be able to, if that sounds like you at the stations and you want to be able to run a sub 65, you have to be able to hold a 628 per mile pace or about 4 minutes per kilometer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then if you want
Yep.
to run a sub 70 and that's your like station breakdown, you have to be able to hold a 436 per kilometer or about a 724 per mile pace.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's just like trying to put it in a frame of reference of how you'd have to approach these. each of these pieces.
Yeah, and it is interesting to break it down like that, Anthony, because there's so many of the HYROX world that are trying to break these times, and rightly so. I think the thing that I'm thinking about right now is like, if you are one of these athletes, try and think about what you're actually good at, or what you're naturally good at in a HYROX race, and focus. I'm not saying not focus on opportunities to get better, like stations that you have the potential to improve, but start thinking about the stations and your running as such, like that you are already gifted or naturally good at, and start trying to treat them, or start trying to focus on trying to make them your weapons as well. Um, and this is kind of like off topic, but I think a lot of people focus on the opportunity to improve stations, which is rightly so, and disregard turning good stations into absolute weapons of yours. And that's how you can actually um, uh, let's just say, like, bank up a lot more time, or make sure that you are actually bringing your best fitness into a race. Um, and that's something that I try to think about when I'm coaching. And I know for a fact that's what yourself, Anthony, and I focus on, trying to improve myself as an athlete as well. Um, but yeah, no, it's really interesting to go through this actually.
Yeah. So additionally, like you said, like you want to turn your strengths into your weaknesses. One thing I think people focus too much on is going to be the race as a whole. Like, oh my gosh, I want to break 70 and I'm at 53 minutes leaving the farmer carry, which means I only have 17 minutes to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then they like crumble. Instead of just
Mm,
anywhere that you're at in your race, you shouldn't be thinking about your total time really until
no,
like you leave the lunges. Like, what
yeah,
time will I hit until I leave? Like, don't worry about it. Focus only on the station that's next. Like, count your
hmm,
laps properly. But as you run through, when you're on the skier, you shouldn't be thinking about what your finish time is going to be. When you're pushing the sleds, you shouldn't be thinking about what your finish time is going to be. Think about what's right in front of you. All right. Like I'm running. Hey, look, I know I want to hold this pace on my runs. I'm able to do that. I got to the station and I feel either better or worse than I think I should. Means what I push, what do I pull on this station? Um,
yeah,
if if I need to, I overwork the station a little bit. Maybe I back off for a second or two on my run, or for like half a lap, just be like, okay, I just need to recuperate a little bit, back to it. But like hold yourself accountable, but only think about what's right in front of you. If if a station takes you twice as long as you think it's going to, say like you think you're going to go in and you're going to crush the sleds and it's only going to take you 2.5 minutes, and you get there and it buries you and it takes you 5 minutes. Okay. Don't give up on your race. That's one
no,
station, right? Like, yeah, it could bleed into others. But what could also happen is, hey, I took a little bit more time than I meant to. I feel like I'm depleted, but I'm going to start going and just, all right, I'm on to the next thing. I'm going to start pulling this sled. And I pull the sled and I do better than I think I'm going to do by a little bit. And then I'm going to, you know, do the burpees and I do better on the burpees by 15 seconds than I thought I was going to do. I do better on the row by
yeah,
2 seconds. Like, and then all of a sudden I'm running like 5 seconds. And by the end, you're like, hey, I'm almost to the tempo or to the pace that I thought I was going to be at. And then you go into the wall balls and you're like, if I just take one less break than I thought I would have, I can still beat this, even with the terrible station, single station I had. It's a long race. Nobody knows that better than JK, who sat there in eighth place thinking, oh no, I'm too far out of it. And then it
yep,
just like when it clicks, it clicks. And it doesn't have to be at the same point every race, and it doesn't have to be every single station.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You can
Anthony,
you can easily
um,
make up for a bad station.
well, absolutely, because there in my head, in my eyes, there are 17 opportunities to gain time, or sorry, there's 17 stats in a HYROX race. Now, simple to me, there's 8 runs that you get a stat for. There are 8 stations that you get a stat for. And then the extra is that rock zone. So there's 17 stats. Now, if your sled push doesn't go to plan, as you just said, guess what, guys? You've got 16 other opportunities to make sure that those 16 go to plan, right? If another station or another run doesn't go to plan, guys, you still got 15 opportunities. Think about it from breaking down the actual stats that we get. There's 17, and it's not 16, guys. It's 17 because that rock zone is very important. 17 opportunities. If three of them don't go well, hey, you still got 14 to to try to make up on.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that you can make up time, and you don't have to always make up time. Like what I said in the last episode too is like if you're trying to run a sub 70, like maybe pace yourself out for a 68 if you're mentally strong enough to like know that I'm off pace, but I'm still gonna make what I want. Like pace yourself out for a 68 and then just be like, oh, I had a bad station, but I'm only a minute 15 behind. I can still hit my actual goal. Or and it might make up some of it. Um, and I'm just using sub 70 as an example. There's the same rules apply, like we talked about the paces to the 65 and the 75.
Yep.
And like I said, to the 90 or to the 2 hour mark. It's just you have to
Yep.
do the math on what your actual run paces kind of be, just try to hit it when you get it. And
Yep.
um,
Yep.
anyway, there's a lot to it, guys, but I think that covers it pretty well. JK, I know you have a hard stop here, so we're not going to get to all the questions. Um, this one we did get on the last. I'm going to read a question we got on the last episode, but we're probably going to make a whole episode out of this question. So, hi, Anthony and JK. Love the podcast and insights. Quick questions. What are 5 to 6 gym exercises you would prioritize to help the back end of a HYROX race? Farmers, lunges, and wall balls. I seem to be able to put together a
Okay.
solid first 5 stations, but the wheels come off from station 6. Later runs are still consistent paced with earlier runs, just seem to suffer a lot from muscle fatigue in those stations on the back end. So
That's
we'll get that.
that's a great question. Yeah, yeah. Let's do
And
a
we also
big episode on that, Anthony.
we also got a question. Actually, maybe the next episode could be covering these two, but we got another question from we have fans in Brazil, and
Awesome.
they were asking about how much time an athlete spends on a threshold workout if they're trying to go sub 70. So, guys, we actually have a lot more questions
Cool.
than that, but those are the last like two questions we had. So I want to make sure we'll address them. We're gonna have to do an episode.
Cool.
JK, I know you got a hard stop here, so thanks for jumping
Just
on today.
always, mate. And just before we go, uh, Anthony and I actually worked out yesterday that we have been working together for 2 years, 2 years, 2 years this week actually. And I actually went back and um, found the first day that you programmed for me, Anthony, which was the 15th of February, 2024. And to give you some perspective, Georgie and I over dinner last night went back and had a look at maybe the first couple of weeks of my programming and my training with you, and then even like it was fascinating to look at my feedback my heart rates for things, and it was great to do because it's been uh like it's great to understand where I've come from. Um, and yeah, we really took um, pride and joy in it. Like, just to give you some perspective, as I messaged you last night, like, you gave me 100 push-ups for time on the first day of training together, and I did 5 minutes and 24 seconds. 5 minutes and 24 seconds. Today, guys, like, I consistently hit 3 minutes, 3 minutes 15, 3 minutes 30 on a bad day. So over 2 years, I've been able to scrape off 2 minutes of that. So, but yeah, just wanted to throw that in to finish off the podcast. Like, it's been 2 years, 2 years, or close to 2 years of this podcast as well, Anthony, which is
Yeah, I mean, if this
fantastic
is
and
episode 87, so that means
cool.
104 would be 2 years. So we're about
Fantastic.
17 weeks away from 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, we can't wait to kind of continue it, and many more, years to come with the podcast, but many more years coaching and doing this together. So
Yeah.
um thank you, guys. As we always say, like, if there's anything that you want to for us to talk about, any questions, please don't hesitate to message us, jk.jameskelly on Instagram.
Yep. I just want to say, JK, those first week or couple weeks that you were together, it was mostly about building your volume up too. So did you see how it was like it would get steadily a little bit
Yeah,
more? Like, did you see the time
it
commitment of day one versus maybe what you would do today?
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it was fascinating because back then, and even my notes were like, it was kind of like me telling you that that was a lot for the day, and then now I'm like, if I did that today, it'd be all in one session,
You
which
would
is
message me and be like, "Is this it for today?"
yeah, exactly. So no, it's great to it's just on this, like, it's great to look back and understand where you've come from. That's what I'm saying here. It's I think we
Yeah.
don't I don't think we do that enough as people, like, actually sit there and go, hey, like, I've come a long way and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And as I've said to you, Anthony, like, I wouldn't have done well, I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for you and Lauren. So
Mhm. No
thank you.
problem.
Thank you for that.
Thanks, JK. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to reach us out to us about coaching or programming, you can find us on Fitter, either James Kelly Hybrid Coaching or the Hybrid Engine. You can also find us on Instagram at jk.jameskelly or at the Hybrid Engine. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can also message us on either of those platforms or send us an email at thehybridcoachingpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's hybridcoachingpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.